Okay, you guys, you all pointed me in this direction, and here I am with the new show, Young, Famous, and African. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 1, episode 1 of Young, Famous, and African. I hadn't even heard anything about the show, and I started getting emails and people reaching out to me in my DMs talking, you got to go see this show, you got to go see this show. And I kind of shy away from reviewing shows that are pretty much streamed and all the episodes are there. But I was like, let me go and see what is all the buzz about. And as soon as I seen the title, I'm like, African famous, young famous African. I'm like, well, we know from the door, the fashions are going to be off the hook. From the door, fashion is going to be a big thing here. So I was like, let me go and see what is going on, if for nothing more than just intaking the fashions. Okay? So I sat on down. And when I tell you, baby, it is so much more than just fabulous fashions. Oh, but the fashions. Oh, the fashion. The fashion, baby. These girls were pulling out some lovely gowns and just each scene. Just fabulous. 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 I mean, it is like eye porn, child. It's just the fashions are something else on here. And the males are just as clean and decorated as the females. I mean, clean. Everybody snatched and pulled together. So, love that. But anyway, let's go through, because it was the first episode. There's a lot. Okay? Now, I'm going to apologize right away with the names, because I'll probably mispronounce some names here, but I'll do my best here. First, we have Kanye, okay? Kanye is basically, she's the main character. From what I see, she's the main character. She's 35, okay? She led in, she is, she's self-made. She's a self-made girl. She is wealthy. She has her own place. She's made her own name for herself. She's, like I said, 35 years old, but she has some little turmoil around her as well. She says right out herself that she is basically called a gold digger. She has a label of being a gold digger. Her baby's daddy, okay, was 31 years older than her, okay? And he was already established and all of that. So they coined her as a gold digger. And she, what made me laugh is she's like, okay, and moving on. So now she's actually dating a fella who is 27 years old. Her 35, okay? Out of that, her other relationship, her baby is 15. She has one child, which is a girl that is 15 years old. Okay? Kazi is actually her guy. And there is scandal around Kazi and how he actually obtained his money. So that's the short fast of it. I'm sure we will revisit more parts of that. But she is basically the main girl. She's the main girl. Next we meet Annie McCauley, and Swanky Jerry. Swanky Jerry is Annie's stylist, okay? And he pulled together. He's the one, he has the connections and he knows all the girls, and he's, he's very popular, very good at what he does, okay? Annie is, it's so funny because Annie is popular already. Annie's self-made as well. She's done all kind of movies and all these different TV shows. She's an actress. She's done many things. They have like a list of things that she's done. She has two daughters. One of her daughters has some medical difficulties. Her 7-year-old has some medical difficulties where really sad, where she actually explained during the show that this child at 7 is the first time she was able to actually celebrate her birthday standing up straight. She said many, many surgeries and everything like that. Really sad. A lot for a 7-year-old. And we saw like a little scene with her calling back home she's out working and she called back home, talked to her daughters, and the baby's worried about her. She said, Mommy, are you happy being there? She's trying to save face and put on a good face for the baby. She's like, I hate that my 7-year-old's worried about how I'm feeling being away from home when I should actually be worried about how she's feeling. So that was really, really touching. I'll tell you right away, I took a liking to Annie. Annie is very, very down to earth. Very down to earth. And what I didn't say about Kanye is very, very pretentious. Just as most of the people on the show are. The thing is, all of these people are of African descent. And it's funny because now, of course, I'm American. So when you talk a lot about what you have and material things, it comes across to us, Americans, as pretentious. And we kind of frown upon that. But people who I know who are of African descent, like that actually come from Africa, that is kind of their way. It's not looked at the same way. Like they don't have a problem with being proud of what they have and the journey that they've had to get there. They really just don't. And I've noticed that. Like even people on other shows that are African, there's a difference in how that's actually viewed. Again, I'm American, so immediately when it's I'm this, I'm that, and that comes across as pretentious, and we just we look at it like, okay. But again, it's a thing. Everybody that I've ever known who are true Africans, they that's just the way they carry themselves. So it's no tea, it's no shade. It just kind of is what it is. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I've been on the planet for quite a long time. So it just, certain people carry themselves a certain type of way. That's a culture thing. Okay. So we're not going to harp on, and I'm saying that now, we're not going to really harp on how pretentious a lot of these people are. That is pretty much as far as I know and my interaction with people who are African in descent. That's just, it's a culture thing. So we're not going to harp on it. We're not going to harp on it. We're going to do this and we're going to watch this and we're going to take it for what it is. And we're not going to be sitting around beating up on our African brothers and sisters. We're not doing that. We're not going to do it. But, when you're doing a lot, I'm going to say you're doing a lot. Kanye does a lot. So she's pretentious, but she is even upper level of it. She does a lot. She does a lot, okay? She does a lot. But again, she's the main girl of the show. Show's kind of wrapped around her as far as what I see. Annie, for whatever reason, she's African in descent as well, but she acts more like us. She seemed to be very bothered by the I have this and I have that and all of that. And maybe it's because she's actually lived this way for so long. Because when she talks, her husband literally has a huge career. Like he's an international star. Like he's huge. He is huge. And they were together at like 15 and he blew up at like 15, 16. So maybe it has to do with the fact that she's had the money and the fame and been around this stuff for so long that it's not really a big deal to her at this point. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I was just kind of watching and I was like, she's really unbothered. She really acts more like us. But again, it could be that she's been with the money and stuff so long till it doesn't impress her anymore. Um, Her husband, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's just move on. We'll get to that. But her and Swanky Jerry are like this. They're besties, okay? And really, he's the one who has the connection to these people. Let's talk about Nadia. Nadia is friends with Kanye, okay? They're like really, really good girlfriends. Baby, Miss Nadia is a shady piece of work. She is a rapper, okay? She's shady. She's just a shady girl. She really is. She's shady. They are good friends. Her and Kanye are good friends. When we first see her, and she's so tall, like she's very statuesque and thick and tall. Really, that's the girl. She's sharp. She's sharp. But oh, and that's the thing. I think Annie is pretty. And you see Annie, she'll switch up on you in a minute. Like she goes total natural, and she's like not bald but short. Her hair is very short and sharp. And then you actually see her. She also, in another scene, she had like the whole long lace front wig, and she looked like a whole different person, but just as beautiful. I said, check her out, honey. I said, go ahead, girl. Go ahead. We talking about Africa. There's some skin bleaching. I don't know if they're going to touch upon any of that here, but I'm looking at folks and I'm like, yeah, there's some skin bleaching. You know that's a big thing in Africa. So I don't know if they're going to touch on it or if they won't touch on it. It seems we never get around dealing with the culture without talking colorism or skin bleaching. So I'll just be looking. I'll be very shocked if it doesn't come up somewhere in here. But it's apparent that there is some skin bleaching with the bleach, without the bleach. There's these women. I haven't seen not one unattractive woman on this cast, whether they're dark or they're light. They are like they are really stunning women. And actually, Kanye actually looks like what's her name? The China broad, Black China. She favors Black China. Now, Black China got a look. Both of them. Them two have a look. But I think she's bleached. For some reason, I just don't feel like Kanye's skin tone here is what her real skin tone was at some point. But she just has a very exotic look. She has a very exotic look, but something tells me that she wasn't as light as she actually is here on the show. I don't think that she was that light. Something just and I could be completely wrong, but yeah, there's definitely some bleaching going on there. But I said, boy, it'd be interesting to see what she actually looks like in a different shade. But just as far as her features and things go, very exotic. Very exotic. I'm like, okay, listen, good looking. The whole skin bleaching thing, it is what it is. It's cool. Me, I would never bleach mine because this is what I got and I like it. But it's cool. That's a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. I don't feel like arguing with you all about all of that. But it's apparent. So I've said it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't see it. There's some skin bleaching that's going on. But Miss Annie, no bleaching and beautiful. She really is a beautiful lady. But anyway, moving on. I said all that to say what? Nothing. Moving on. So Nadia, like I said, she's a rapper. She's shady as hell. Nadia comes in there, and this is just like right in first meeting her. They're friends. They're at a venue. There's going to be this ball that Kanye has put together. And she's really excited about the venue and everything. And Nadia's like, oh, yeah, girl. Yeah, I like it. This, that, and the other guy right in the confession was like, No. Clowned the venue. Completely clowned it. Gave that it was outdated and wasn't all that hot and it wasn't nothing special. I said, okay. And that's the thing. They call her the bling queen. They call Kanye the bling queen. Like everything has to be so much extra. She's like, this ain't all that extra. This ain't all that extra, but whatever. I was like, girl, this is your first 2 seconds on the show, girl. You shading your good friend. I said, okay, whatever. Anyway, she's dating this American rapper who is actually from Ghana, but actually lives in the United States. He's over here. And she's basically dating him. So she has a long distance relationship going on. And first things first is that good old Kanye is trying to hook her up with Diamond, who is a star over there. He's a star. He sings and whatnot. He's real extra. But yeah, Diamond, he's a big deal, and she's trying to hook him up with them, hook them two up. So let's move on. Let's go on and talk about Diamond. There's Diamond and there's Zori. We haven't met Zori yet, but Zori actually has 2 children with Diamond. Okay, and they are there in Africa. And he does a lot of traveling around. So he was saying, he'll be able to see the kids, this, that, and the other. The only thing about Mr. Diamond got 2 more kids somewhere else. And then there's 1 more somewhere. And then there's 1 that's a question mark. He ended up telling this whole story about how his mom met this woman, and the woman, he definitely had a one-night stand with the lady like 10 years ago, and there's a baby. And the woman's husband believes that the baby is hers, so she keeps him away. And he says, basically that he has actually tried to reach out and everything like that, but the lady is just not having it. So there's a question about how many kids he got. 4, 5, 6, what? He's a little messy. He busy. He busy, just like American rappers. He busy. Moving on, let's talk about Naked DJ. Naked DJ and Kylie. He's 40. It's Kaylee. I think it's Kaylee. Kaylee is 28. They're like a mismatch. Okay. She wants more excitement. She wants more engagement. He's kind of 40. He's an old active 40, but he's a DJ. And then he's asking her, he wants more from her. He wants her to be more feminine and all of these things. And he wants her to be, more glamorous. And she is actually a professional football player, which, over here, not football, but soccer. Okay, so, but it's called football elsewhere. But she is a semi-professional football player, soccer player. So she's like a roughhouse girl, and that's what he's like fussing because she's not walking around being pretentious and wearing swimming suits and just, she's like a round the way girl, okay? And she actually is she's a white woman. She's a white African woman. So it's like, all right, Kaylee. I think she's African. I think she's from South Africa as well. But yeah, she's Caucasian. She's Caucasian. So just their thing. I don't think they will make it as a couple because she wants more, and he's kind of like, whatever. Now listen to this. While we were over there at their house, we met. His name is Andile. Andile. Now he is just this little guy that makes me kind of say, he not bad looking. He not bad looking, but he's very he real sharp, but scaled down. Like really quiet money is what he gives. He's single. He is a people watcher. Okay, so I clocked him right away. He's a people watcher. He didn't have too much to say, but he asks a lot of questions. He asks a lot of questions. No bragging and things like that. He's not braggadocious at all, but he asks a lot of questions, and he always looks like he's computing. He's very creative, and he's like a behind the scenes guy. He does a lot of like production, and he also, I think he's a caster on some like a some show or something too. But he does a lot of work behind the scenes. So he could just blend into the background, but he's computing and taking. He ain't to be trusted, is what I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna stretch out and say I don't think I trust Andile. I don't. I like him, but I don't trust him. I got my good eye on him, and the reason being, he was over visiting with Naked DJ and Kaylee. Is it Kaylee or Kylie? Kaylee. And he's questioning them and everything. And then he's kind of looking at her. And I was like. And then she walked by. When she went to leave, because she was doing too much talking. She really was. She was doing all this talking. And I was like, And it was like talk about their relationship and all of this and all these little details. And then when she got up to leave, he did one of them. And Naked DJ asked him, did you just look back at it? You know, and he's like, no, I mean, my conversation was for both of y'all. That. I was like, no, you did. He did. Because he's young. And your old ass, you clocked it like you should have clocked it. He didn't ask all these questions and sizing your woman up. And yeah, he looked back at it. So from the door, don't trust him. I see you, bro. I see you. You got some smooth moves. You definitely deserve to be watched. Let's move on. So then we go to the scene where we see Nadia and Annie and Swanky having a little lunch. This is where Swanky is actually introducing Nadia and Annie to one another. Swanky has been invited to the ball by Nadia, and naturally, she's going to be his +1, okay? So, from the door, Nadia is side-eyeing Annie. And she says in her confessional that she's kind of just side-eyeing her. And I'm like, why? Why are you side-eyeing her? But I think it's, again, when she met her, Annie doesn't have all that extra going on. She's just... And for whatever reason, that made Nadia uneasy because Nadia has fake. She's saying like, Annie, I think she's hiding something. No, the thing is, you're fake. And that's why you can't vibe with her, because you basically know at some point she's going to see through your bowl. And that's what that is. Anyway. She said... They mentioned the husband. Nadia in her confessional kind of threw some shade at the husband. So, oh yeah, I think my mother listens to him. Like he ain't all that relevant, but he actually really is. But again, she's a young artist, okay? She's not even all that established like that. She's a young artist. It was shade. You know how shade that the young people throw. It was no big deal. But again, Nadia, I think Nadia sees that Annie is the real deal. And you know that at some point she's going to clock your foolishness. So, no, you don't care for her all that much. But you're like, okay. So, look. So, here we go. Let's go on over here to this ball. Shall we get to the ball? Everybody, listen. That dog on Kanye rolled in there with this red gown. Sharp. Sharp, 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 sharp. Red beaded gown. Halter. I didn't like her hair. I didn't care for her hair. She had this blonde hair. That wig just didn't knock me out. I don't know. It did knock me out. And I think it was more the cut. The cut just didn't do her any favors. I could honestly go with, if they had took her and did her in a blonde, that it could have still been blonde, still that same length, but just the straight, like straight to the back with the little bump of not a whole flip, but just a little bump right at the end. Who had their hair like that? Sharon Stone used to wear her hair like that. If she would have did that in platinum, sickening. It would have been sickening. You could have still been blonde. You could have still been that same length, but just clean. It need to be smooth and clean. And I mean smooth. When I say smooth, I mean where it literally is backward to where it looks like glass. And just that little right there. And just right there to her would have been so bad. So bad. Yeah. But the hair just kind of, it wasn't polished enough. It wasn't polished enough. Yeah, it wasn't polished enough for me. But the gown, sickening. Body snatched. Snatched. She looked so good in the gown. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nadia rolled through an old nasty piece of red velvet gown that had a lattice closing in the back, which it was corseted like on one side. And it had the nude illusion in the panels, sharp. And on the other side, it was like they had done some work with it because they actually had rouging done with this velvet, this stretch velvet. It was real cute. And I told you she is thick and she's tall like an Amazon. So it had that whole, I love that whole mermaid feel. And it had this one old nasty piece of slit up the front off, and it was like a off. It wasn't like a straight slit. It was like off. It was sharp, very sharp. And Miss Annie came right on in, baby, with this whole. It was a whole different vibe altogether. It had nervous feathers, and there was some sheer elements to it, and it was just a whole different vibe of gown, but it still had like more of a mermaid-esque silhouette to it, but not overdone. Not overdone. She didn't do hair. She wore her natural hair. She had this earring with all these diamonds that went all the way up her cartilage. Bad. Everything was just, her makeup, everything was right. She was together. Just thoroughly together. The men were, like I said, more adorned than the women. Clean. And as we went up in there, child, Diamond actually ended up changing clothes and was clean all over again because he performed. He performed a song and dedicated the song to Nadia, which put her on the spot. Dedicated song to her. She's about, well, I mean, I didn't say that I was single, but girl, she ate it up. He ate it up. Causey actually did get at Kanye about it, but she's like, just wait. Right, because they both in. She got somebody, he got somebody, and listen, it just is what it is. He said he's single, though, but whatever. So, we're there at the ball. Annie is completely not impressed. She's not impressed with the conversation. She was not impressed with the food. Now, Miss Annie, now you was doing too much. When it came to the conversation, I get it. Because Kanye got up and did this whole speech about their bank account. Everybody who's here, it was that very braggadocious thing about their bank accounts being a certain way. And we basically are all on the same level, all of us in this room. So, like, you're special to even be here. That kind of thing. This is the first time Annie and Kanye ever met, okay? So, Annie just wasn't impressed. She wasn't impressed with Kanye. She wasn't impressed with the venue. She wasn't impressed with any of it. But see, they had them build her up. Oh, she's this and she's that, and she does things this way, that way, and the other way. And when she got there, it was like, this ain't none of what y'all was talking about. And even, oh boy, Annie's boy, Swanky was like, she struck out on this one. But then when the food came, Annie's like, oh, she's vegan. So you're fussing about the fact that it's meat and stuff. She's like, oh, girl, just wash it down with the champagne. And she's like, the champagne is burned. I said, Nadia's over there like, see, this is what I was talking about her. No, you just didn't like her. Anyway, you just, our first impression, you didn't care for her. Period. for whatever reason. But Annie was doing the most. She was doing the most with the food. You're vegan, so anything other than, like she said, maybe if it was fish, I would, we get it. But you didn't even have to make reference to it. You didn't even have to make reference to it. Just eat the vegetables and anything that the meat ain't touch. There's ways around things. There really is ways around things. You ain't gotta offend. And that's what Nadia was like, girl, don't offend the host. Right. You don't offend the host, especially when you don't know them. Then there's this conversation that got started at that dinner. Oh my God. There's a conversation about children, and there's another African thing, honey, when she started talking about who's married, who's single, why are you single? And this is Kanye's very that she has that older African woman thing, but you're not even that old. She's like, why are you single? Why are you single? Why are you not with anybody? Because Nadia didn't come with anybody. Diamond didn't come with anybody. And Annie's husband naturally is at home, but she was like doing that. But this was just her way of ushering in the conversation to put Nadia and Diamond together. Okay, so she's doing this whole thing, and then the conversation goes into this. Oh, Andile is at the thing, and he's like, I haven't met anybody. Andile took a little liking to Miss Annie. Okay, I clocked it right. Him and Miss Annie was vibing. Okay, and I said, ooh, you could just see things with people. First of all, they would be a cute ass couple. They would be a cute ass couple. Okay, and they just had a natural vibe and a natural draw to one another. Okay, and then when they ended up getting up from the table, what they had on looked like they came together. Shit, that yellow and black gown, and he was dressed in black. They looked like they came together, child. I said, I see y'all anyway. But that conversation comes on about children and this type of thing. And this is when Kanye starts talking about her daughter, who's 15, and how her and Kazi kind of allow her daughter to do what she wants to do, basically. And she said, we don't always see eye to eye. And when you don't agree with her or see things her way, she like really goes into. And I'm like, okay, she's talking about the 15-year-old. And then she said that the 15-year-old doesn't live in the house with them. She has her own apartment at 15. Then it went on to virginity and sex. Andile was like, so you said you just let her do things and try things, whatever she wants. He said, well, what happens when if she wants to decide to have sex at 15? Then what do you do? And Annie and Andile, like, they connected right there at the table. Like, they literally went there, and they were both literally challenging what was being said. And I could see Kanye was getting very that. Okay? I'll do it again. Like, are y'all really at my shit? Yeah, girl. Yeah. Now, me personally, I would have never. I didn't think it was good etiquette at all on either one of those two. You both are guests at an event. This is not the time nor the place, and she is the host. And the conversation was, first of all, it was just a wrong conversation. Conversation about people's kids is just touchy, and Causey was just as quiet. He just let her go, and I was like, the stuff that Kanye was saying was making me cringe as well. But yeah, y'all are challenging her parenting. And I was like, somebody gonna get in their feelings. And I was like, oh. So they eventually, Annie was going to excuse herself because she was saying virginity. She said virginity can either be lost or taken. And she's like, that's what happened with me. I had my daughter when I was 15. She said I had her when I was 15. And I'm like, okay, well, no, sorry. She said she lost her virginity when she was 15. She had her daughter when she was 20. She lost her virginity when she was 15. And she said, you could find a guy and you like him and you think you're going to be with him, you're in love with him, and then that's when you have your virginity is taken. It's not stolen. That's what she said. It can be stolen or it can be taken. That's when it's taken. And I'm like, taken? You gave your virginity. You like took nothing. You gave it away. But then she's like, and then it could be stolen, which we know what that all entails. So she's like, she don't have no problem with it. She's like, she decided to do it, then she do it. I'm like, oh Jesus. I was like, okay. So I'm cringing, Annie's cringing, Andile's cringing. He's like, I got young girls, and I was like, okay. And I was like, did he say he has young girls of his own? Or does he knows young girls? I ran it back twice and I couldn't get that. I'm like, he didn't mention having children, I didn't think earlier, but whatever. We'll keep watching and see what that was. Or if you all caught that, leave it in the thing. I don't think he has any children, but that comment, I have young girls. But I think he meant like maybe he works with young girls and different things because, again, he is in the business. So he probably works with young girls. Anyhow, Annie and Andile get up and they leave out and they end up going in there having this conversation. They're having a really good conversation. They're basically over there bonding is what they're doing. And I'm like, girl, watch yourself, Miss Annie, because he's looking at her like, yeah. He's taking a liking to her. And I think she was loving this conversation. She was very comfortable with him. It was like, oh my God, we haven't even met her husband, but it's like I'm already rooting for her to be with Andile. I'm like, oh, geez, oh my goodness. But anyway, so then shortly into their conversation, here comes Kanye. She comes up. She's like, it's my party. I can be wherever I want to be. And I was like, what does that mean? So she basically bogarts her way in and sits in between the two of them. And now she's going to have the conversation. And then here she goes again with her. She is a very pushy conversation. She's like, so what y'all talking about? It's like, oh no, we just was having a little conversation, getting to know each other, everything. She was just telling him, she was saying, yeah, my husband, he's a wonderful man, this, that, thing, the other. She's saying the good things about the husband and how much he loves. She said, yeah, I've heard his music and stuff. He has a song called African Queen. And he's like, is that about you? And she showed him this diamond necklace. She's like, yes, African Queen. So that's her. The song is about her. Everything like that. She's like, yeah, he's a wonderful man. This, that, thing, and the other. So when Kanye comes in, she was saying, she was just getting ready to approach the fact that there had been some stuff that has gone on earlier in their relationship, the business. They're talking to business. She come in, she pushing for this information. So she's like, well, what did she say? What did she say? What are you saying? What happened? Is there infidelity? What's going on? So Annie, being the real person, she says yes. It was. Because at first she was kind of like, she didn't go into all of it, but she gave enough of it. She says, there's some things, in the business, you're in the business, She's like, my husband, we were together from when I was young. We got together like 15. And then shortly thereafter, his career blew up, and that's when the problem started. She said, and then, I have 2 daughters now, but he literally had gone out on the road and had 2 kids. And then we went through some stuff and then kind of patched it up. And then he go back out again. Here's 2 more kids. And she says, my first child is his 5th child. So yes, there was a lot of the embarrassment and the shame of it all, and yeah, I've been through some things, but she said, love is what love is. It's not always what all the roses and all that people say. It's a process. She's saying some good stuff. And so here they're having this whole really, because you've shared a lot of your business. Now I've actually shared, my story. And honey, then the confessional comes up. Oh, Miss Kanye said her. She says, so, Miss Annie, that's why you're so guarded. And that's why you're so hard to get to. She says, so here you are, sitting here telling me all your business. Bad move, Miss Annie. I said, oh. So, yeah, she was collecting information because now you have an X on your back as pertains to Miss Kanye. I said, oh, I kind of thought that, but I wasn't sure. But then Kanye came right on through, and she definitely is who I thought she was. I said, oh, wow. So that is kind of where this episode actually ended out at. Well, not really, because then we had Nadia having her conversation with, which this was no big deal to me, but Nadia had her conversation with Diamond. That was like the last thing. And all it was they went over there and talked, baby, and it's given. I know you got a man, but he's in America. You know I got some other stuff going on, but let's make it do what it do, maybe. And she's giving, yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, the door's almost up. Yeah, maybe the door's open. Child, we're going to be out of order. That's what it's going to be. That's all it came out to. They're going to give it a go and try to get to know each other. And know y'all building on a real shaky ground from the door. I'm like, how will you two ever trust one another? You won't. So, child, this ain't nothing but a recipe for disaster. But I'm here for it. Listen, young, famous, and African. This has been episode 1. I am really enthralled to see what else is coming. Very interesting. Done, as far as reality shows go, done very well. Oh, there was a coin spent here. Done very well, very pretty, everything. It's just a joy to actually watch. It really is a joy to watch. This is done really, really well. So I will be watching, and I will see you all on the next episode. Later.